everybody. Welcome to another episode of Doggin It, presented by Diamond Bird Dogs. We went wild bird hunting today out in southwest Georgia and on private land and public land. I got my good buddy CJ White here. He has been in the industry for quite some time now. He is somebody who I bounce questions off of, especially when they pertain to wildlife management and habitat management. Has a lot of experience in this field. Great guy, not a great shot, but we keep him around just for giggles, right?
We were both over 2 today.
We were. They were not great opportunities.
Did you shoot twice or did you shot once?
I shot twice, like a fool.
Twice.
But that's how it goes sometimes.
One of them within 7 yards.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we should start off by talking about realistic wild bird hunting in the Southeast. In terms of what does success mean, right? Success means different things to different people. Success to me means my dogs, not just me seeing birds, my dogs seeing birds, right? Success to you seems to be getting some birds in the bag, which is fine.
A little different. I don't have bird dogs.
That's true.
So, I mean, I love watching your dogs work, but
Opie was out there
when
with
you
us.
put me through 31,000 steps in one day and we have a chance to shoot, I want to kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're out there to hunt.
Yeah, we're out there to hunt. Yeah, I'm definitely, my purpose out there, I'm happy if we see birds in general. If we find one covey in a day of hunting, that's success to me. If we find anything more, wild bird hunting in the Southeast, that's excellent. You know, public land especially, private land too, though. You know, more than one covey in a day for wild quail, wild bobwhite quail is what we're talking about in the Southeast. That's excellent, right?
No doubt.
And not a lot of people. I get a lot of people coming up to me starting conversations, and there's nothing wrong with going out to preserve or putting out birds on your own property and getting your dog the reps in, you know, and it's more so quality over quantity, right? You don't need to do 100 reps on birds. You want to control the scenarios on birds so that when you're hunting, it's a little bit better, right? It's finely tuned. But I get a lot of people coming up to me, talking to me about, you know, maybe at a party or something like that. My parents will introduce me to somebody, you know, and they'll be like, hey, he quail hunts too, or he quail hunts. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a different type of
you're going to be that guy?
Yeah. It's a different type of it's a different type of
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
I'm going out there. It's a walk. To me, it's a walk with my dogs. And if we see birds,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah. Some days are like that, you know?
Yeah.
Well, today, we'll talk about today a little bit. So it started out, the conditions were excellent. They really were. It was
better
cold.
than we thought.
Yeah, way better than we thought. So the forecast was what?
Well, it said that it was going to be
like 30 mile an hour winds.
10 to 12 even at sunrise.
Right.
And with gusts in like the low 20s, and it ended up being almost no wind at all.
No wind at all to begin with, which wasn't great, but it picked up to soft wind, which was awesome. It was very cold to start out with, and there was some moisture from that dew on the ground. And it was, you know, that's the three things I look for in scenic conditions: is cold, moisture, and a breeze. Now you want you want to find a balance of all three of those, right? Too much, you don't want it too cold, frozen over. You don't want it too hot. Definitely don't want it too hot. You don't want too much of a breeze. You don't want no breeze, and you don't want it too wet or too dry. You know. And so as the day progressed, it became very windy and and swirly too, and then also very dried out completely, and hot. The only thing that kept it cool was the breeze. Right.
And so, when you say very windy, say what that means. I mean, not 20. It was like 35.
Oh, it was
40.
windy. It was blowing your hat off.
Right.
Yeah. So in those conditions, it's very hard for a dog to really pin down the birds. And when we did get points, they were on, except for that one covey where they came around the backside of the wind. They ended up coming into the covey on the wrong side of the wind, so they bumped. And the dogs, those were vets, so they knew to stay steady once the birds bumped. But when we did get points on old scent, it was still very close points. You know, when we called the dogs, when we released the dogs, it was still, they were going up 5 yards maybe and like sniffing around the ground where you know, dogs will point any kind of scent. You know, bird dogs will point any kind of scent. Some of those were probably old quail. It was probably old quail scent. And other times it was probably deer or maybe a rabbit or a field mouse or whatever ran off. You know, it was some sort of scent. But hard day of hunting, hard day of wild bird hunting, which every day of wild bird hunting is a hard day of hunting. A lot of miles in, And I know you felt that. I know the other guys with us felt that.
Yeah.
And it was
One
just
guy
tough.
had to leave early.
One guy had to leave early.
He
Yeah,
couldn't
that's
even
right.
handle it.
Yeah, that's right. We're not gonna say his name.
Andrew. Andrew Hammer. That's who it was.
That's right. But yeah, a lot of walking for little reward. But I think that that's something that really we were talking about that out there. You know, when you get success, when you find success, maybe it's when you bag a bird, maybe it's when you find birds with your dogs, when your bird dogs find birds. That's what makes it so rewarding because it's so hard, right? You go through a lot of failure to get that little bit of success. And that's what makes it so addicting, right? If you have a moment like the dogs came on the wrong side of the wind and bump a covey
Right.
when you've been walking all day and that covey goes away, you don't shoot at them because your dogs didn't truly point them, you know. It depends on who you are. You're locked and loaded, you're ready to go. But if you work all day and you almost get that success, you can taste it. That's like, you know, you're definitely going to come out tomorrow. You're definitely come out
Right.
next weekend and chase it. That's what makes the wild bird game so addictive. And again, this is more. We're just talking about what we did today in a wild bird sense. There is nothing wrong with going out there to a preserve and hunting your dog, getting a lot of reps in and enjoying them. That's the main thing, right? We're not out there to kill birds, or at least I'm not out there to kill birds. It's more to just enjoy the dogs and the dog work. Killing birds is just a bonus to me, you know. And that's the same mindset all of my clients have because you know, I've talked to them and they've talked to me, and we have very good clients who go out there with the purpose of enjoying their dogs, whether it's preserve or wild bird hunting anywhere in the country, whatever it is. It's all about, you know, these little tired dogs here.
Yeah.
They're about wore out. Man, we got
This
another
one's
big day.
upset.
We got another big day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully.
Opie, poor cocker Opie had to keep up with the bird dogs all day.
Yeah. Well, he's sad he didn't get to do much today.
Yeah, I know it. Look at him. He's falling
But he
asleep.
definitely wants to be a part of the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we rotated the dogs a good bit today and just jumped around a bunch of spots. And here's the thing about wild birds too. Every spot we hit, I have seen birds before, you know, in the general area. And if you're a wild bird hunter, you know that covey usually hangs out somewhere in that area. You also know that if you're a wild bird hunter, you're going to walk, or preserve bird hunter, doesn't matter, just bird hunter, you're going to walk past birds. And maybe the dogs will be too far away, or you'll be walking a little bit too far away for the birds to flush, you know, and get scared and flush. Or you'll be on the wrong side. The dogs will be on the wrong side of the wind. Don't smell them. Go past them. You walk past birds, and I definitely think we walk past birds today.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me sick thinking about how many birds you walk past. I wish there was a way to, you know, get an estimate on it, but there's just no way. But every place we hit, I have seen birds before, you know. So that's the thing. Say we hit 6 places today, we could have got into 6 coveys.
Yeah.
How crazy would that be in the Southeast?
Yeah.
You know, so there's always that potential, and that's what drives me to keep coming back too. Every now and then I'll have a multiple covey day, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I want to do everything I can to get that day again.
Oh yeah.
Get my dogs on those birds.
We had one a few weeks ago.
Yeah, heck yeah. At the same place we went today.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And it was awesome. Just a lot of action. And that's, you know, when you have an action-packed day, no matter what you're hunting, it's just a lot of fun, you know. Success. Tastes sweet.
I agree.
Heck yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit about you and your time at W.C. Bradley.
All right.
And what you learned there and what you do now, how you apply that to your job now.
Yeah, I was there for 2 years, 2 full years, 2 quail seasons. And just for a little bit of context, you know, they run a lot of different kind of hunts. Bunch of quail hunts, bunch of tower shoots, bunch of driven upland hunts, duck hunts, you know, pretty much if it can be hunted, they do it there. So I went through 2 full seasons of that, and yeah, I do feel like I learned a bunch. In the hospitality side, also the habitat management side, and yeah, just this industry, which is.
And so when you came over to the property you manage now, which you manage a good bit of property, and you know, it didn't always hold wild birds, right? It was clear cut. Take us through those steps, what you did. Because I assume you just herbicide sprayed everything, and then once some growth came up, you burned. and it was just that year after year after year. But so once it was clear cutted, were you there for that when it got clear cut?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? What'd you do to get those birds, and where do you think those birds came from?
Right, yeah, so, for context of this property, it is adjacent to a large military base, so, that's undoubtedly where the birds came from, you know, that's
Because they're
the
burning every year, every
Oh,
other
yeah,
year.
every other year you look over there, it's beautiful habitat, it's perfect, you know there's gotta be tons of birds over there, so, this little part of the property, about 220 acres, it got clear cut in 2017, and it was herbicide sprayed, by a helicopter for, site prep to plant longleaf, and, uh planted longleafs in 2019. It actually failed because of hogs.
Mhm.
Hogs went through, and I know it sounds crazy, but I've talked to a lot of people, and that's what they said that they think it happened too. But it looked
It's
like,
some $1 trillion of damage
oh
agricultural
yeah,
damage every year in the U.S.
yeah,
So it's
it's a
not,
bunch,
yeah, it's not
and it
inconceivable at
looked
all.
like they just went down the rows and pulled up the seedlings and laid them over. Anyways, that was a failed planting, and then planted it again in 2020, actually as a cost share program with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife for gopher tortoise research,
Mm.
which is pretty cool. Uh, and so, yeah, it's basically just been maintained as a large opening with fire. There's some longleafs in there, not a ton, but yeah, it's pretty good quail
So
habitat.
burn and herbicide rotation,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
And I think on top of everything, burn rotation is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
They
Well,
got it to where it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say the herbicides probably just as important just because that was able to limit that, hardwood encroachment early on,
Right.
in that,
Knock it out early so you don't have a
stand,
problem with it.
right,
Yeah, later on. Yeah. And you
which
see a lot of big properties, big plantations, big farms having sweet gum problems down here,
right,
and they're
that's what I
having
was
to deal
about.
with it every single year,
Yeah,
and spot spray every single year. And then, they go to another spot and let's see, allocate funds to just spray that spot this year, but then they got to go back to the other spot next year and whatnot. So
yeah,
getting on it early and wiping that out is, it's not easy, but it's doable and it pays off in the future.
yeah.
Something you brought up, gopher tortoises. Something I learned today from you was that, and I didn't think of this until college. We
Uh-oh.
did learn it in
Don't
college.
quote me on this,
Yeah,
whatever this
we
is about to
we
be.
I think we may have done this in college or learned about it in college, but it just came back to me today when you said there's cacti out there.
Prickly pears.
The prickly pears,
Yeah,
they eat those.
yeah,
And it
oh
was
yeah,
so cool to see
yeah,
where we were hunting. This was public land, a little south of your property that you manage, and they you could literally see the teeth marks and they were
yeah,
eating them. Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, think about where a gopher tortoise lives and how dry it is, and think about that prickly pear is like the only. It's what I told him, Mitch today while we were hunting. It's like the only succulent,
Right.
wet vegetation anywhere
Hydrates you
in
probably
there.
while you eat too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, they
Um,
definitely do
and
eat
so
it.
anybody who is not familiar with a gopher tortoise, they are ground dwelling
I think
tortoise.
all tortoises would be ground dwelling.
Yeah, but they burrow though. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
but yeah, they do. They burrow, and they're known as a keystone species. A ton of different species in the coastal plain use their burrows, and
What are
yeah,
those? There's some owl. What owl is that? You know that who uses they'll like move in, um, and take their burrow.
w-
The
burrowing
burrowing
owl.
owl. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
sounds
stuff.
that sounds right to me. Burrowing.
Heck yeah. Well, CJ here was a wildlife ecology major
That's right.
from Auburn University.
Yep. A little bit
The
separated
few, the
from the
proud.
enterprise
That's
management
right. That's right. Mine was more the
degree.
party major,
That's right.
wildlife party
We
animal.
focus on our studies more
That's right.
in
That's
ecology,
right.
straight to
Well,
business,
I still saw you
and gopher
downtown
tortoises.
plenty, so don't get too cocky. Yeah. But anyway, all right. So tomorrow we're going down a little further south, a little further west, in Georgia. This is real Southwest Georgia.
I've never been there,
No,
so
we're going to some private land down there. It gets burned every year.
every year.
Every year,
Wow.
or every 16 months or something like that, or 18 months. I think it's, but the grandpa down there who runs the place, he's 92, 92, still hunting birds, loving it, and he's managing it, and he burns it every year now, and he's been doing that for a long time, and it's definitely paid off.
Yeah.
And you look down there, and the places where you find wild birds, it's not what people would think based off a magazine,
Right. And that's what
or
I was gonna say earlier
any of
about
these
the
medias. Yeah,
habitat, about
right.
juniper,
Yeah,
is because going to those other public places that we went today, the habitat structure I felt like was way better, a lot more open ground and
yes,
stuff
but
like
juniper
that.
has those patches of it, right? So
Yeah.
that and same with the public land, it has patches of like super optimal habitat, I guess you would say,
Yeah.
where you definitely let that cocker tucker out. Definitely, you have that feeling. You're like, oh dang, there's got to be birds around here somewhere, and oftentimes there is.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you don't find them, but then sometimes you do. But they like. I'll use this wildlife term: heterogeneity.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
Big SAT word.
Heterogeneity. So a mixture of species, right? So they're like some grasses, some forbs, some woody
Yeah.
component, a
Right.
mixture. It's not all just grass.
Right.
That's what you manage for in a preserve or a put and take bird situation, right? On
Right.
a put and
Just
take
for
bird
cover.
property. Just cover.
Right.
And you're burning every single year, but you're also spraying inch to inch, right? In plateau or whatever other selective herbicide that is it's killing everything but
Grasses.
native warm season grasses, right? So you're just managing for cover. In the wild bird sense, and I think we talked about this on another podcast with Trey Atkins, but you're basically in I would think that you're more so burning and then spot spraying certain things you want out, but you want the burn rotation because even if it's a patchy burn, that'll allow heterogeneity because some stuff will come up thicker and others will come up thinner, or other places will come up thinner. And
Right.
then say sweet gums pop up, or there's a huge patch of briars that you want to eliminate or whatnot. You want some
Right.
briars and stuff, but spot spraying those areas, I think, is
Right.
the way to do it. You don't want to go over and spray everything
Yeah.
because then you would just be managing for cover.
Right.
And quail need cover and food, right? I
Right.
mean, I think the problem is mostly cover, but we could talk about the problems with wild quail all day long,
Yeah.
and more than that, and people
Yeah.
do. I'm sure there's plenty
It's
of
100-year problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, we're going down to Southwest Georgia, more Southwest Georgia tomorrow on some private land, and it is very thin. It's some of the public land we're on today looks very similar. There's a lot of ground, a lot of bare ground underneath the cover, so that the birds, you got to think like a quail, right? They're walking the majority of their life. They're not birds who fly a lot. That's why they have white meat. They're walking the majority of their life. Let's see here. So when you find those areas, you kind of click, and this is when I go to a new area, right? Even a new spot in an area, I look for cover that's got a mixture of grasses, mixture of forbs, mixture of woody component, and I can say, oh man,
Yeah.
there's wild birds somewhere
Right.
here, right?
We
There's
said it a
gotta
lot
be.
today.
Yeah.
Like, this looks so good.
Exactly,
There's
and
gotta be birds
we got a
here.
lot of, I guess you could say,
And then we
false
walked.
points or old scent points. Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
walked and walked and walked. That's how it goes, man.
No,
And
I
it was
know.
just, hard conditions too. You chalk it up to hard conditions, and a lot of this game, I mean, all these dogs are skilled, right? You've seen these dogs on wild birds, you've seen these dogs on penrose, you've seen these dogs on different species of ducks, waterfowl. You've seen these dogs. They are very good dogs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody likes dogs a certain way. They're very good dogs, in my opinion. But I think it comes down to a lot of skill and a lot of luck too.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
Everything, there's a lot of components that go into.
I'm very
just-
superstitious. You don't talk me into that.
Yeah, there's a lot
I
of
agree.
components that go into not just wild birds, but penrose birds, anything, hunting, right? There's a lot of elements that go into that, but especially when you're running bird dogs, I tell everybody it's the ballet of the sporting world, right? It's an art, running bird dogs, everything has to go right. The dog has to be perfect. The sending conditions have to be great, and take it with a grain of salt because we found birds on bad sending days, but it's definitely harder, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many things that could go wrong in terms of finding these birds
Mhm.
that when you get those perfect moments, it feels so good. It just blows your mind.
Yep.
And every time we had a dog on point today, I looked over and you were like,
Oh,
you were
yeah, I
shaking up
told you,
there,
yeah.
especially when the camera was out.
Yeah. The
Got
first
you
point,
amped
I
up.
told you I was gonna have to hit my inhaler.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Well, that was fun.
But
then,
tomorrow,
yeah,
we're gonna, I think,
man, and
I
that's
don't
you
want to
say you're
call
superstitious.
I don't want to call our shot,
Yeah.
but I think that we're gonna at least shoot on a covey rise.
I hope
I
so.
think that's gonna happen.
I hope so. I just hope the dogs see some birds and we have a good time.
Yeah.
Man,
Well, I'll
let's
have a
see.
good time. That won't matter.
Yeah, I hear you. You hear those water cookies? Blue just heard some ice cubes getting got out,
Yep.
and we call those water cookies in my house. And this dog is a water cookie addict. Let's see. That's something too that you could tell it was super dry today because the dogs were coming up to get water
Yeah.
more than I've seen. You know.
Right. You ran out a
Yeah.
couple times, which
Oh,
I've never
several
seen
times.
you
Several times.
really run out out
they,
there.
they were coming up, and part of me thinks, and some people may disagree, but part of me thinks that whenever I see a birdie area, I kind of get the dogs in, squirt some water in their mouth to kind of get them moist, get their noses wet and whatnot. And I don't know if it helps or not, but it can't hurt, right? So
Right.
it's one of those things where like get the dogs in, squirt some water in their mouth, and their
Reset.
noses. Exactly.
Go
Reset,
out.
have some moisture, and then go into that area where there might, it looks birdie. So that's definitely what took place today. And the dogs worked great, the puppies worked great, the vets worked great, the cocker worked great.
Yeah.
He was disappointed he didn't get to flush or retrieve at all, but he hung in there. And everybody thinks that, and it is, the reward for these dogs is a bird in their mouth and bringing us that bird and making us happy. But I think also the reward was, my wife was saying today, I called her on my way back. I was like, we didn't have any good opportunities. The dogs saw birds, but they didn't get any in their mouth, just didn't come together today, which oftentimes happens, but she was saying, oh, they didn't get a reward. And I was like, well, they're out there doing what they love, truly. So that's, that's as big of a reward as anything. Them just running their butts off, hunting their butts off. And the anticipation, I think, just like for us, how much we enjoy the anticipation of the hunt, the chase. I think the dogs do the same. They enjoy the chase, right?
Oh yeah.
It's the
I
pursuit.
can tell you Millie was having a good time out there.
That dog, man. I hope we got her bred because she's gonna throw out some good pups. But yeah. And man, I feel like we just keep on collecting short hairs every year. We just keep adding one.
You said that today. You get a new one every season.
I know, we do.
So you got to get a new one this year.
I never get a break. I'm just, training a new pup up every year. And then we got a boykin pup coming in the fall.
You bring it on yourself.
Yeah, that too. But my wife enables
But you can't stop.
Steve Snell, I will never forget this because it applies to my situation big time. Steve Snell from Gundogs Supply, he put on Facebook one time. He I don't know if he still does it, but he started writing paragraphs, right? And a lot of them were really cool, paragraphs about whatever, just his thoughts of the day or the thoughts of the week or whatnot. But he wrote on there one time on his Facebook, and I shared it with Legree, my wife, immediately. He was like, everybody needs to find the right amount of dogs for them. Some of us are lucky. We have somebody who tells us, okay, this is enough. Some of us are not so lucky, and we have enablers.
Yeah.
My wife is an enabler, right? If I even hit another dog, she's jumping on me. She's like, yes. And even if not, she's like, hey, we could probably
need another dog.
More. Yeah, exactly. So we got an enabler. So that's just the way it is. But for our lifestyle, I'm a professional trainer. Also, what I do outside of training is hunting my dogs that I train. So it makes sense. We use the dogs. We love the dogs.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, exactly.
I have dogs to walk behind.
Yeah.
That's not upsetting me.
Absolutely. Well, cool. All right. What else we got?
Well, I have something we can talk about.
What you got?
Why don't you recap SEWE? How'd that go?
SEWE was awesome.
I was supposed to make it, but
it was your birthday
I didn't
weekend.
go.
You promised us you would come.
Yeah.
We're very excited.
I know.
I
let you down.
We had a lot of gifts for
That's
you.
the second time I've flaked this year.
Yeah.
And
first time was even worse.
Yeah, that's not good.
Disaster.
We can't let that be a habit.
No, it's been a habit.
But how'd that go?
It was awesome. So we met a lot of cool people. We got a lot of networking in with other companies. Really enjoyed our area. We were right next to the entrance.
What is SEWE?
SEWE Southeastern Wildlife Expo. So it's on average, I think like 50,000 people go to this event, you know, and
Yeah.
it's the biggest names in the game.
Yeah.
And I was very honored and a little surprised that we were invited to be there, not only at SEWE, but in the most popular area, in one of the most popular spots.
It was popping, wasn't it?
Oh, it was amazing.
Really?
It was packed.
Yeah.
And there were so many dogs there. And myself and my brother took the camera around. And I think I made a little reel on Instagram. And we just stuck it in dogs' faces and they just booped the camera.
Yeah, I saw that reel.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so we made a lot of really good friends, not just with dogs, but with people, because we like people too.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
No, we met a lot of cool people, talked to a lot of potential clients, and we released our new development series, right? So our online training videos for people at home. So I'll just run through that real quick. It's a membership-based series where it's one-time purchase, unlimited access for these videos that go through obedience, field, fetch, and water work. And it's, again, one-time purchase, unlimited access.
How do you get access to it?
You go to diamondbeardogs.com, and our new website that we just launched is
are the videos on the website?
Yeah, they're on the website. So it's on our website. Yeah. So you click become a member, you choose which option you want. Say you have a hunting dog breed, but you don't intend on hunting them. Say you have a German Shepherd Pointer or a Cocker Spaniel or a Lab or whatever.
Right.
High energy dog breed.
Yeah.
You don't hunt, but you still want to obtain obedience. You still want to obtain control over them at home. So there's certain ways to do that, certain right ways, certain wrong ways. We go over how we do it on our development series, so you would get obedience development, right? That includes all the obedience videos that will always be upgraded and uploaded, right? New content. And that's the thing, once you're in, you're in. It's unlimited access. And once we have double the videos, we're going to go up in price again. So if you get it now, people are going to have a hell of a lot better, purchase, a bang for their buck. Than in the future. Well, and not even then in the future. You're still gonna have a ton of bang for your buck in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to deter anybody. But we structure it in a way where if you have a good work ethic and you can cut out 15 minutes to an hour in the morning and at night, you can get it done.
And that is true. Like I will say, telling people a lot of
it.
Yeah, right. I've trained
I used to do it.
dogs for people.
A lot of
people will say, "Man, how do you do that? Like I just really don't have the time to put towards training my dog." And I'm like, "Man, if you're consistent and you can spend 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night and devote just to training that dog, and other than that, just be consistent in your training every time you're around the dog, and you really can get it done.
And just spend time with it overall, just get bonded with it.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, then it's structured in a way that if you're willing to put in the work and you have a good work ethic and you're willing to, toughen out the hard times. He's fetching a crock. Toughen out the hard times, because I think the biggest thing is it's mentally challenging, right? It takes a lot more time, not necessarily during the day, but in general, it takes a lot more time to develop a dog than people think. And I see more people quit because they get frustrated. They think they're doing a bad job. They think the dog's no good or something like that, instead of just taking more time and pushing the dog through, right? And pushing themselves through is really what it is. It always comes down to you.
Right.
But so if you're willing to do that, then we structure it in a way that you can buy this membership, and it costs less than 1 month for our training, right? For our in-person monthly training, it costs less than that to send your dog off for 1 month. I think we're at, there's different tiers in it, but you can either send your dog off for 1 month with us, or you can buy this package that gives you the knowledge that it takes to do it yourself at home.
How you're doing it.
For unlimited access.
Right.
It will always be uploaded, and as a member, as a Diamond member, you can comment on our videos. You can tell us what do you want to see. As a regular member, you can tell us what you want to see, and we're going to be always uploading new content, what people want to see, and we're going to be updating old content that we think we can do better. So, I don't want people to feel like they're just buying videos. They're buying a membership to a community.
And access to you.
Access to me. The Diamond membership gives you access to me, the guy who trains all the dogs.
Yeah.
The guy who thinks
for
he knows
better
what he's
or
doing.
for worse.
Yeah, exactly. The guy who thinks he knows what he's doing. And then also you're a part of the DBD team, the DBD community, so the Diamond Bird Dogs community. We'll have member events. We have a member forum that you can discuss questions with people who are going through the same process as you. I think it's a really good deal. So, we just talked about that a bunch, but that's what we were mainly pushing at SEWE.
Right.
We released the development series, the Diamond Bird Dog development series at Southeastern Wildlife Expo, and it was a huge hit. We got a lot of people coming up, a ton of interest, and we made a lot of friends. And I think people have been asking for these videos for a year and a half now, and we've been working on them for a year and a half.
I was about to say, how long have you been working on them?
About a year and a half, and there's been ups and downs in it, and we are very excited to finally release it, and very excited to build it too. I'm thinking of it as we just kicked off, right? We just released it. We just kicked off. We have 50 videos in there now. I think 27 obedience videos, 50 bird dog development videos, which includes obedience. Yeah. And then I have 150 on a list that I want to do, So we just kicked off. Now we get to build it, and we get to build our community, and it's huge. And I'm super excited about it because we've been working on a lot. So SEWE was awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Did you get any good food in Charleston?
A lot of fun. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you the places we went. Oh, man, dogging it. But my wife is from Charleston, so she picked out all of her favorite old places were still there.
Yeah.
So we were able to go eat at some of her favorite places.
Yeah, Charleston is awesome.
Fantastic.
It's hard to have a bad time there anyways.
Yeah, we missed you there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I saw y'all's your new website and all the videos too, and it all looks really, really good. I'm excited.
Top tier.
Yeah.
It's diamond class, man.
I agree. Get you a diamond.
That's right.
All right, Opie.
We turn pieces of coal with the right amount of pressure into diamonds. And that's what we do, right, Blue?
Yep.
Blue was at SEWE with us. She had a good time.
I was hoping for a blue covey today.
Yeah, last time, man, I wish
we had 2 blue coveys, didn't we?
2 blue
or a
coveys.
Blue and then a shiner.
Yeah, shiner covey. Blue's sister. But Blue last time, Blue, Shiner, and Mickey, that was such a cool moment. And that's one that I wish we had a camera on big time, because Blue went up there, super intense point, right? Wind was blowing right in her face, hard scent, good soft wind. It was a cold day. It was like perfect conditions, blowing right in her face, locked up. Shiner comes probably 15 yards behind her, a good little distance, locks up. Shiner's always stylish, whether she's honoring or, backing, honoring, or pointing herself. But she locks up. And Shiner's pup, Mickey, the 8-month-old, 9-month-old, she comes up behind Shiner, another 10 yards away. Boom. She locks up. And so Mickey was honoring her mother, Shiner, who's honoring her, not blood related, but sister, Blue, locked up. And we went up and we whiffed on some shots. I think we dropped one.
Well, I was about to say, we weren't even paying attention, and we look up like 100 yards up on the hill. I'm like, are they stopped?
Boom.
But it's just a train of short hairs.
And that's exactly when you want a camera there, but that's not how it works, is it?
And we walk up. Covey gets up, big covey, 15 birds.
Oh, yeah.
And fly to my side, but we both get 2 shots at them. And
drop one bird.
One bird.
And who knows who hit it.
Yeah. And it was wide open, too.
It was my bird. I hit it.
Yeah, it was your bird.
Yeah. That was great. But then, we found another covey that day, and we were able to get on some more birds later that afternoon. And that's how it is. Some days are packed with action, and that's why we brought a camera out this time. And of course, once we flip the camera on, the birds, they start acting like gopher tortoises, and they burrow. Ground dwelling. Yeah. But anyway. All right, Blue, you tuckered out. Opie, you tuckered out. You look like a statue right now. Tuckered out. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this short episode of Doggin' It, presented by Diamond Bird Dogs. Thank y'all for joining us. We're going to go out there and try and get some more action tomorrow. And let's see. Check out our development series. Again, diamondbirddogs.com. We just launched this new website. It is fantastic, and it's going to help a lot of people who are dealing with these high-energy dog breeds at home. Check us out, guys. We appreciate you, and thanks for following our journey.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. CJ Watt, everybody.